All right, there's Charlie's engine on the stand. I'm getting ready to tear it out, tear it apart. Man, you can see how bad it is inside. So I'm expecting virtually no bearing wear or anything. Pretty much just collapsed ring lands. That's what I'm calling it. Probably in 3 cylinders, at least 2. Here's the C32B with the covers off, valve covers. If any of you guys are familiar with B series. So basically B series in design, at least the design philosophy. Obviously a few more cams. So I'll get the timing belt out, get the cams out, and then the head comes off. Heads come off. So these are the rockers with the VTEC assemblies. I use zip ties to keep them together. And then keep them in order as well. And as I pull them out, just slide them back on the shafts, and away they already come. That way nothing gets lost. And the order's resumed. Just like that. And gasket looks okay. No concerns there. Nothing melted, so that's good. So it definitely wasn't a tuning issue as far as too lean and melted holes and all that. So, which I was nervous about because that one cylinder was really bad. So, same thing there. That piston looks fine. That one does too. Let's check out the bottom side of the cylinder head. So, cylinder head looks all right. No holes in any of the exhaust valves. Everything looks normal. Obviously that cylinder, you can see exhaust valves are burning a little more dark. That's because oil. So that cylinder was ingesting some oil, probably obviously from the broken piston. So we're gonna pull the other head off. And then start pulling pistons out. But so far, it's about what I expected. This is the pulling of the other head, the front head. This one just had a slightly low front cylinder. Middle cylinder, I mean, cylinder 5. I believe that was the dowel. Dowels. Inside gasket's fine as well. Here's these cylinders. They also appear to be fine. Bottom side of the head. You can see a lot more universal burn on this one because it's not as broken. Oh yeah, it's crunchy. So I just got the piston out. The worst cylinder, definitely broken ring lands everywhere. I'll clean it up and show you guys. Alright, so what happens is you can see the cracks. So the oil control ring is still in okay shape. In this case, it probably actually did see a little bit of stress. But the top two compression rings, they collapse the piston underneath them, between them. So what happens is the combustion gases snake around the backside of the crack and go into the crankcase. Now, you hardly know what's going on because it still almost functions like normal, considering the oil control ring works, so it doesn't really smoke that much. So in any case, that's what happens on these NSX pistons when you get much over 400 horsepower. This one lasted at 5 for a very long time, but it was a calculated risk that eventually it let go. So as you guys can see, chunks of piston are coming out. And what that means is that's where the combustion's going, is going behind the ring. Around the ring, if you will. And you're losing power, which is why we were down on power. So you got chunks of piston just chilling there now. These upper ones are probably loose too, yep. And eventually you'll see increased cylinder wear too, because these are just flopping around in there. Let's see. I think that's it on this piston. So we're going to pull apart cylinder 2 next, and I bet you that one also has similar, not as bad. I bet you that one's just the top ring landing is cracked. And then maybe cylinder 5 will have some damage. So here's the number 2 piston, which as you can see, it's got a big old chunk of piston ring broken. Now as far as I can tell, it's only the primary ring, which explains why it was about a 12% leak down versus the other one at 60. Yeah, there you go. Oops. So there's that. I'm going to finish pulling the rear bank and then we'll swap over to the front and see if that middle cylinder has a crack. I bet you it's a crack, it's just not going to be broken, if that makes sense. So I decided just to pull all the cylinders, and cylinder 5, which was the one under question, is actually fine. So it does not appear to be broken, which is great. So seems to be the rear bank, and it seems like 90% of these cars always have rear cylinder bank failures. So maybe theory it's related to the fueling system, as the rear bank is last in line. So when I do high horsepower NSX builds, I generally do a big Y system with big pumps and all of that. That way each bank is fed simultaneously instead of one followed by the other. And the rear bank is the last bank to receive fuel, the way that it is organized from the factory. Alright, I've got all the pistons out. Crank's in really good shape. By the way, 3.2 liter crank, perfect shape. Anybody wants it, about $2,500. Okay, so the block is going to Bensons. They're based out of Idaho. I've been using Bensons for sleeving since, I don't know, early 2000s. But one thing I wanted to show you guys before I left, this is the stock sleeves. They're 93 millimeter bore. And the 95 millimeter head gaskets already came in. I use Cometic, partly because custom gasket, it's here in a week. So you cannot beat that, and they work well. So as you can see, it's quite a bit bigger, the gasket is. So that's how much thinner, how much bigger the bore is going to be on the Bensons block. It's not a lot of material between the cylinders, but I'm not too worried about it because it's not going to be a big boost motor. Like I said, we're only pushing 14-15 pounds of boost, and the goal of the engine is big torque on pump gas without, you know, stressing things a whole lot. So, yep, off it goes, and then I'm off to Pikes Peak for sure this time.